On your marks, get set, play.
I love that.
Good flavor.
That I really like.
That is delicious.
This is recording, and there we go. Why, hello. Once again, we're back at States Crunchy Milk presents Krème Patisserie. And of course, joining in on discussion of what I thought was a pretty rough episode is the homie Nick Jew.
Hello.
Hello. And of course, my man Tatum 216, founder of them Skim Boys. What's
Hello.
good, man?
A lot of interesting stuff.
This was one of the episodes I was like, y'all all disappoint me this week. It's a whole lot of disappointment to be done here. And then I disagree with who got sent home. We'll get there. Let's go ahead and rattle.
I agree with your disagreement.
So, remaining bakers this week: Chiggs, Christelle, George, Giuseppe, Jurgen, and Lizzie. And I say it's George's time. That was right here. I say it's George's time. Ness says George or Lizzie. That's when Ness thought was going on as we watch this. Signature this week is sharing size caramel tart. And I thought Chiggs looked real fly in them glasses.
He looks so dapper. I have a note. He looks so dapper this week. Like, I already think the man is very attractive, but this week in particular, yes.
Yeah, he was working it. He was on that. I was like, okay, handsome boy, modeling school, do your thing. So the little sneak that they snuck in on you, that little wisdom that they slid on you this week was caramel base got to be real cool for you to be able to decorate it. And they whispered that to you right quick, and you're like, who about to fuck this up? And it turns out a good half the bakers. And I'm like, come on, one, maybe two, possibly three. Nah, bruv. It was real problematic.
Yeah, but we knew before we went into this, Chiggs is bad with caramel. He is not good with it.
Yes, he definitely hasn't had a good showing.
Well, let's rattle through them. George made a caramel custard and banana tart, basically a banoffee pie, which is an English thing that I constantly hear about, but I'm disgusted by because bananas are disgusting. So the very idea was gross to me off the rip. Lizzie went for a caramel custard. My tart will go on. Lizzie should be writing porn titles. That was too good. Christelle made an apple, pecan, and miso caramel tart, and I noticed during the judging they didn't really comment on the miso, or maybe I just missed it. Did y'all recall them saying something about it? Yeah, I like that. That's her little trick 2 weeks in a row. Like, I mean, who knows? Should I be doing some shit with miso and I'm missing out?
It's gritty. It's gritty. So the episode on Netflix is called Sugar?
Is that just they named it?
I don't know.
How random. Well, we know it to be true. The Caramel Week, if I didn't say that, episode 7 of series 12, and Giuseppe made an apricot and hazelnut caramel tart that well, we'll get there. And Jurgen made a triple nut caramel delight. I said, this is what I say in my notes about Jurgen's particular dish, that lends itself more to an American taste, and I wonder if he'll be judged harder for it. My man stuck some walnuts, pistachios, pecans in there with a kumquat creme. That's about the only thing we don't really fuck with in America. I don't know a lot of people who get down with kumquats.
Man,
I love
kumquats are so weird.
I love them. They're like tiny little oranges, but they're kind of tart, like a lime.
But aren't you supposed to like pop the whole thing in your mouth?
I bite off the top and then like suck the inside part out the peel.
Like a crawfish?
Like
Yes.
a crawdad, like a crawdad, just sitting there like,
I don't put the heads in crawfish. Very fishy.
oh my god. What a chick. Chig's made a chocolate coconut and ginger tart. What we all really learned this week. I mean, y'all probably know this, but I was really like, wow, man, caramel is a finicky mistress, and custard is like his fussy sibling, because as we go through judging on the signature this week, I was just like, damn, man, you did this.
And then add to that gelatin, and you've got the trifecta of the really difficult shit.
Yeah. Lizzie, once again, told she has no finesse, but the flavor of her caramel was on point. Christelle, good pipe work, neat, slightly bitter caramel. I mean, it was overcooked by just a bit. Chigs, looks neat, good decoration, too much chocolate, too dark caramel, and too thick a pastry.
And he knew it too. When he was making his caramel, he was like, I think I burnt it.
Yeah, and I mean, it was like within seconds too. It was like, bro, you just went a little too far. Giuseppe's caramel was too liquidy and too sweet. Jurgen's cream split, the cream he piped on top of it, so not the actual pie. The caramel, way too chewy. They had a fit about that. Like, it's going to take my teeth out. I'm like, settle down, bro.
that triple nut, though?
Hey. George, nice thin crust, but it curdled, slight curdle, not a lot. They didn't go all the way over. No flavor in the crust. No, wait a minute. No, they didn't like the flavor.
They just didn't taste the flavor in it.
Yeah, they said it was a good base, like it cooked well. Let me say he baked it right. What I wrote here in my notes is everyone basically fucked something up. You know what I'm saying? Nobody walked away unscathed in this particular judging, it's been a while since I seen them hit it that hard. Anthony wrote to me early Friday morning, because he was clearly watching this shit as the day got going, was like, oh, they judging hard this week. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I was like, oh, bake off. That makes perfect sense now.
Yeah,
it was like, oh, go ahead.
No, I was about to say it was a funny back and forth. It was like a who's on first, because we were at work and he was just like, man, our work chat. I'm like, yeah, they being judgy in there too, but no, it was the Bake Off judges. He was like, oh man, you in there already? I ain't there yet. Okay, I'm sorry.
They do an interesting like good cop, bad cop, because I feel like Paul is ripping people to shreds. And Prue will kindly be like, yeah, this is a little stodgy or whatever, but good flavors. Like, she always ends it with something positive, and Paul's like, this shit is trash.
But the interesting thing is when they do bad cop, like, you fucked up. Yeah, you fucked up. I think that's always better. That's how you know it was bad.
Yeah.
So that was signature. Y'all got anything written down about signature y'all care to discuss or show anything?
No. I just at this point realized that there are only 2 women left, and one of them is Lizzie.
Bruh. We'll get there. Technical this week. Paul assigned it. It is 10 caramel biscuit bars, 90 minutes to do it. These are basically scratch made Twix. If you want to know what they had going on there. And what they wanted to do was a shortbread. They wanted a caramel placed on top, piped on top, and stayed his ass on top, which was an issue we had with all the bakers, many of the bakers. And then coat the whole thing in chocolate, which I don't think most of them did not get. They were all like, you just put a little chocolate on top of it. Like, no, this bad boy need to take a trip into the chocolate. You need to enrobe it in chocolate, which is actually probably something they should put in. Well, I mean, it's a technical, so I mean, they don't give you too deep an instruction to work with. Lily, things I noticed, Lizzie's dough did not look smooth. Everybody else's shortbread dough looked nice and smooth, and I was like, okay, everybody laying nice, but Lizzie's dough was rough and ready, and I was like, what is you doing, girl?
Rough and ready.
Hey, I've been watching too much Bake Off. That's a Prue line if I ever heard. George in general looked so down during the technical. Like, he just looked sad, like, the whole time. I was like, bro, come on, man. And like, what's my man name? Noel kind of came over to kind of lift his spirits, and he seemed to do it. What's the article you sent me? You sent me the article. What joke was the internet mad about?
I didn't read it. I thought you was gonna read it.
Well, you know what? Let's go research that right quick. Okay, so I can if it's what I think it is.
Because he had a couple jokes that were first of all, let me be honest and say I don't fuck with him to begin with. Like, I know Maggie should have went home, but I totally think still in my heart
He helped contribute to her.
He helped contribute to it. Yeah,
All
he
right.
might not have kicked the ladder from under her, but he didn't help keep that bad boy steady.
You don't know you supposed to put flour in some shit? That's hers.
So
Flour?
during
You
the
got flour? In a baking competition?
She forgot flour in a baking competition when somebody was talking to her, and she is an elderly woman.
If you can be thrown off your game to the point where somebody talking to you makes you forget that flour goes in baked goods, you need to take your ass home.
I would like to think I've done worse when somebody distracted me. Like,
Flour?
well, this is from Decider, a website I've never heard of.
it's probably from overseas.
Megan O'Keefe wrote this. Noel Fielding made the Great British Baking Show because they said baking show. That's an American writer. Because
Okay.
Bake Off tent awkward with some weirdly mean jokes.
Oh yeah.
So I already know what happened. What part they're talking about? Even before I read the art was when he was like, "I'm going to go summarize the bakers," and he goes walk around cracking a joke on each baker, right? And the only one I was like, he called Lizzie? He called her a child bullfighter.
But
And she told him, "Hey man, don't come back over here no more." But in this article, it says there's no doubt that Noel Fielding's chaotic energy is a key part of the charm of Great British Baking Show. Hosts can flit from absurdist comedy to kind-hearted encouragement with the drop of a hat. We like him because he's a rascal with a heart of gold. That's why I was a little bit confused by one of the comic's latest bits on GBO. During a tense technical caramel week, Fielding announced to the camera, "I'm just going to sum up the bakers in a very concise way." What followed was a bizarre series of roasts that were neither funny or on point. They were just weird and mean, and that was truly an awkward moment for an otherwise lovely series. So what gives? Why did Noel think mocking the bakers' appearance with esoteric references while they were stressed out was a cool idea? What was that? I'm gonna disagree. Like I said, the only joke I thought was okay. So let's run through it here because they have some of the jokes written down. So we'll just skip into the article a little bit, which is why I was so confused by Noel Fielding's little bit where he went around the tent mocking bakers as they worked over caramel biscuit bars. Fielding described Giuseppe as Al Pacino if he was in the Guess Who board. I laughed. Chiggs as lumberjack Robert De Niro serial killer. Again. Out of nowhere, that man just started wearing glasses this week. I just want you to know it was weird. He was great looking, handsome man, but yeah. What's the other one? Fielding said Jurgen was like the main puppet in Labyrinth mixed with the League of Gentlemen. Again, solid bit. And this is the one I think they're really mad about. This is the one they're really mad about, but they showing you the other ones. It's like your boss telling you everybody messed up, even though it was only that one person. And declared that Lizzie was Princess Leia dresses as a children's bullfighter. And
It doesn't even make sense.
correct, which is why I'm like, why are you mad about that? That's like, it's dumb. It's all those jokes are relatively just, they're dumb and innocuous.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think
maybe if he would have said it during the first bake, they wouldn't have been as mad. Don't fuck with me during the technical, Noel. Get out of here.
You didn't forget flour, though.
I'm going to say that they was on some nonsense, and again, this is the second article where somebody don't think they're writing something real deep about the British Bake Off, and they're just, in my opinion, just wrong. Let's see, let's get down to it. Giuseppe seemed like in my notes. Giuseppe looked like his was the only one that was on point. And as they started judging, he was up first basically. Caramel good, soggy biscuit. And why did I write last minute? What was I even saying there? Oh, okay, that's a note that I should have put a little caret above in my own notes. Next up was Christelle. Last minute, rush job is how they described hers. Soggy biscuit, caramel leaning. So the caramel they want the caramel to sit on top of the shortbread. And hers caramel was just like, I'm going to go this way. And they didn't want that. But good flavor.
I always find it funny, like when they do those kind of bakes, like they do try to find the most fucked up one to cut. I mean, I guess that's how you have to do it.
Yeah. You might as well go with the worst just cause. George described as a mess upon initial inspection. Not finished at all. Overly hard caramels. Basically, they said you went past caramel to toffee. It was just bad. George's was awful. Like everybody else's was kind of terrible, but George's was uniquely the worst kind of terrible. You know?
Yeah, but he didn't come in last though, right?
He did come in last.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought Lizzie. Well, see that there goes my stinking thinking. I thought Lizzie was last, and he was second last.
They said Chig's was a bit messy, a bit rushed, and the biscuits are too soft. But once again, good flavor. Jurgen's uniform, good biscuits. All the elements are there, just wasn't neat. Lizzie's stuck to the plate, soft biscuit, caramel around the edges, and a rubbery biscuit. Which I'm like, how did you manage that on shortbread? My child can make shortbread now, from like no recipe, just freestyle, because it's a relatively simplistic. One of the most simplistic doughs you can make. So I can't call it. When it's all said and done, George came in 6th, Lizzie 5th, Christelle 4th, Chig's 3rd, Jurgen 2nd, and Giuseppe got it because they said he ticked most of the boxes. Basically, he was the least shit of the lot of them. You know, and it's like
Right.
it's not like he killed it. It's like, no, actually, yo biscuit was soft as hell, and that's not what I come here for. I want a Twix. Tell you has to go buy a Twix, Paul.
And that was only a 90-minute challenge.
Yes, they had 90 minutes to do that.
Man, that's hard as hell to do in 90 minutes.
It's only reason I say is okay. So what the difficult part about that would be
Caramel.
tempering your chocolate and getting your shit enrolled in the caramel. And you just made caramel earlier at this point. It's like it's the second time you're making caramel today.
Yeah, but it's a different texture of caramel too, though.
Oh my goodness. Okay, we have to check that out. Vanessa just sent me, I think, a TikTok about Lizzie. I'll have to look at that later.
It's a different kind of caramel. It's a more soft, like it's not a drizzly one.
Sure.
It's not a hard one.
It needs to be a pipeable, which is a word you just don't want to go throwing around as a man. But a pipeable caramel, however you say it, and not everybody seems to be able to figure that out. So you are right there. It did have to have a specificity to it. But still, man. Showstopper this week was, I don't know, a little too random for my taste. A caramel flavored dessert with a sugar worked dome or sphere with 4.5 hours to do it. And I don't know, man. It's just simply, I think that's too loose a framework to set them up for. You know what I'm saying? People, kind of figured it out, but I'm like, a caramel flavored dessert. That's what you went with,
Right.
Like,
okay.
Let's not bother with Caramel Week if we ain't gonna do something more than that. So, I mean, my aunt Joanne make a mean caramel pound cake that I really, really, really wish I knew how to make. Cause man, just talking about that has me smelling it, and it's like one day. Chiggs named his caramel mistake because he had such trouble in practicing this, getting his caramel to work right. Like Aunt pointed out just a little bit ago, Chiggs has a tough time with caramel. It's a finicky thing to make. So if you are a successful caramel maker, good on you, because most people are not. Giuseppe went with a salted caramel and praline dessert with an apricot caramel glaze and the salted part is the salted caramel mousse in there. And as you watch him make it, it's kind of coming together. You're like, Giuseppe, I don't know, brother. And we'll get into that further when we get to judging. Lizzie, So I said this before they even told me what Lizzie was making. As they showed her like spread it out in the pan and put it in, and I wrote this in my notes. I said, I paused the show and I wrote this down. I said, Lizzie is making a dessert you take to your nan's for Sunday roast. That is not good enough at this point in the show.
Right.
And I can just skip ahead to when they actually did show you what Liz was making. What she was making was roast that smelled like caramel. Looked much better in its design than what she was initially doing with it. But we'll get to how that judging went down with her.
Now,
And
is that a reference besides Outcast? Because I feel like she's not gonna know an Outcast reference.
Yeah, I mean, those them Liverpool people, man, they really fucking music. So I'm gonna let her get a walk.
Yeah,
Plus,
I can tell by her hair she listened to Outkast.
Yeah, music. Yeah, you know, Europeans fuck with us. They just do. So, Jurgen's 107 stepped dessert had me very worried. I'm like, but I mean, my man wrote them pictures down because he knew what it was, and he wrote them hoes down step by absolute step. So it might be something that you and I would just like, sprinkle some salt here. And he was like, "No, that's a step. I'm writing it down as a step so I don't forget it," which is probably the smart way to do it. You know what I'm saying? Stay as precise and accurate as you can. And that's been Jurgen's game this whole time. His was called the caramel contrast because it was several things making up, and it was really well done when all said and done. I was very impressed with what he pulled off there. George went with a salted caramel almond hazelnut decoy with these honeycomb decorations on top. That looked the part. I mean, you can't really say much more than that. Christelle went with Granddad Greg's Cactus Garden, which is basically a peanut something based cake, and with these beautiful decorations on top. Again, her decoration, we have spoke about her week in, week out. Her decorations are insanely good. She's such an artist that she can get a show easy after this. Probably will get a show easy after this, as she is going into...
Most definitely.
Yeah. Jurgen, of course, bodied it. All 107 steps were as they should be. He tasted great. Like, Prue kept going back for more bites. She had at least 3 bites of that dessert, which is rare. They said they take nibbles on this show because there's so much damn food. And she was like, "Hold up, homie. You have put something together here." Scratch baked lady fingers that he surrounded everything.
Right.
Look, some of y'all might just listen to this, but I want y'all to go and watch this episode. At least watch that Showstopper. Jurgen showed his ass out, and I think it paid off in the end. Giuseppe's dome is, of course, that was another thing. That clear ass dome he pulled off.
Yeah.
With like, bruh, I don't hear none of it. Giuseppe, his dome was misty.
It looked like a greenhouse in winter.
But it was elegant. It was neat. But the texture was all wrong. But the taste was lovely. When they pulled his dome off and it was all sticking, looking like Ghostbusters. Yeah. Like if you would have saw it in a window somewhere, you'd be like, "That's a beautiful cake." As soon as they started taking it apart, you're like, "This is no, sir." Chigs is a mess. Runny. Of the caramel, the layers are all kind of whatever. He actually took the caramel out too early this time because he didn't want to burn it again. So he's so worried he's going to burn it. Well, he takes it out too early, so it's not really what they want consistency wise. Spot on flavor, but all just a bit liquid is how they described it. So that's where he was messing up this go round. And may Caramel never revisit that man, or he gonna be one of them dudes who like, "I have to take on Caramel. I have to get it right, and I'm gonna get it right this time." It's like, bruh, don't do that to yourself. It's always them bakers who feel like they need to make up for something, and I'm like, no, you got past. Leave that behind. George's looks, I thought it looked really amazing.
It was,
but unfortunately, it was dry to Paul.
Yeah, to Paul.
But good to Prue. Prue said you got to take a bite of it. You got to make sure you get every piece of it in a bite.
Yes.
Which is logical to me. But Paul was like, "Nah, I don't know, man. It's just dry to me." And I'm like, "Okay, bruh." Like y'all said, good cop, bad cop.
Hey.
So. Lizzie's was so pretty to behold. This beautiful blue isomalt clear bowl, terrarium kind of vibe. these nice little plants on top of it. But all she did was cut up that cake. I told y'all she should have took to her nan's house for roast on Sunday roast dinner, and threw it in the bowl, and put these beautiful, I thought, lovely roses. I thought those roses looked nice.
I thought so too.
On top of it. But basically, all the roses did was hide a bowl of jacked up cake that they said could have been a trifle. And in fact, maybe she should have made it a trifle.
Because they said it was dry.
Yeah. And in my opinion, that should have sent her ass home.
And also, in my opinion, I didn't think those roses looked good. I thought they looked overbaked.
Yeah.
I mean, they looked like bread. They definitely looked like bread.
Yeah,
and I thought that her overall design was very clever. And but then, like, when they took the roses off, it looked nasty and dry.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And like I said, that with her terrible Twix, I'm just call them hoes Twix because I can. They can't, but I can. I was just like, no, you should have left. You should have left this week. And the fact that she did not was not so much disappointing because I feel like that might have been, and I don't say this normally about this show, but I feel like that might have been one of those producer pushes. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, because
if she leaves,
she's better TV.
Yeah, if she leaves, we are down to one woman alone in the tent, and I've never seen that happen before.
Right.
And not to mention, George is the only one who used sugar.
Yeah, man. He like I said, those things should have been accounted for.
Yeah, he's the only one used sugar. His cake looked great. Hers did not.
Yeah.
Like I know they were split about the taste on it, but yeah, I think
they weren't split on the taste of her cake. They both didn't like it.
Yeah.
And so I feel like that. I feel like, in my opinion, that should have leaned judgment a little further in her direction. But they argued against it. And again, I feel like that might have just been a push. It's like, which one is the worst?
Yeah, and also, like, George, he's been doing really bad the entire time, pretty much. And like, Lizzie has made. I can't believe I'm saying this. Lizzie has made some forward progression, and I will say my favorite moment of the episode is when she was helping Christelle, like in the final minutes with that bowl or whatever. But like George, my guy, I hate to see him go, but he hasn't like had a great week, and I think his Showstopper was better than hers. But he just shit the bed in the other two challenges. Just like shit the bed.
I feel like when you was little and your mother's like, I'm about to whoop you for old and new. It was like all the stuff he did, like just compounded. It was just like, this is why you're going. Like I kind of feel like he did what he's done before. And he had a strong showstopper, and they were kind of like, I like the flavors, this and this. Like, you get a piss, like, you get a cupcake. Like, but then, it was old and new. It wasn't, it definitely wasn't just because of this episode. They thought about everything he did.
Yeah. Star Baker this week, I didn't even mention that, was Jurgen, third Star Baker. And again, he earned it on that showstopper. But in reality, again, like I said, on technical, he was kind of amongst the least bad. You know what I'm saying? Him and Giuseppe were just the least bad in the technical.
You think Christelle?
I don't know. Nah, because our bowl was jacked up. So no, like I said, and she came in even lower in technical than Jurgen. So not really. I don't know. Yeah, like I said, this week was it was a real tough judging week. And what's interesting, they were like, we got 2 people we think are going home, but 4 possible Star Bakers. I'm like, you think all 4 of them people are Star Baker this week? Really, sir?
Yeah. This is the first week where I do feel like Giuseppe was just like didn't do well pretty much in anything.
Yeah. It's none of this. I don't know if this is a well thought out week in general. I don't know if Caramel is strong enough to support an entire week. You know, just do a sugar week like they have done in the past, where where you can make sugar sculptures and stuff like that there, but you can bake more, with what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? It just has to be highly decorated and so forth. But
Right, like is this the sugar week? Because like literally Netflix called this week sugar. Why am I can't talk. Netflix called this week the sugar week, and so I was expecting they do all that fun stuff where they have like the strings and whatever. And Chig did a little bit of that with the spun sugar, but was this our sugar week? Was this it?
Apparently so. That's just where we popping at. Quarterfinals begin next week. We are basically in the playoffs of Bake Off at this point.
Crazy.
Which is crazy because
Lizzie's still there.
I have written down right now that she will not be here next week. She going home because I feel like she is again like most of the time when somebody goes home on the show, it's they've reached the extent of their abilities. And next week is a wild one. It's freeform week, which I've never seen them do before. So basically, they're gonna let these fools freestyle, probably with a little guidance, but still, basically a whole lot of like no real theme, And I'm like, I don't like the way that could possibly show up. So,
right,
yeah, I
goes
think
well for Jurgen and Giuseppe, but not so well for Lizzie.
I wonder what a technical challenge will be in a week of freeform. You know what I'm saying?
Whatever they want.
I'm just gonna give you some ingredients and fuck it up.
maybe all four of them got to do something different.
Ooh. We shall see. Is it 4? Is that the math? Does that work?
Oh,
Chicks, Christelle. It'll be 5, right? Okay. Yeah.
I'm thinking it might be the week Chicks go.
You think?
Next week. They write it the way they want to. They might as well.
Yeah, they want to hold on to the women as long as possible. But, like, they're going to have to be really convincing. Like, he's going to have to burn some shit or something.
Like I said, his decoration game was so on point this week, except for them cookies. But nobody seemed, like I said, 2 people got them cookies right. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to let everybody get a walk on that. But he's a good
decorator, that Billy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like, to me, the only person left in the tent who doesn't have finesse is Lizzie. And she just gave them her best effort. And one of the judges didn't really fuck with it.
Yeah. They're saying, and if that is your best effort, and then we still end up being like, you was really on your way out. And there you go. Like I said, I feel like next week, like I said, she don't practice. We know that. You know what I'm saying?
She watches Harry Potter instead.
I'm hoping she watches something else, but whatever. I feel like she'll be at the end of her rope next week. Nobody amongst these bakers, the rest of them are too solid, and she is not.
I agree with Ant though. Chiggs could have a bad week and be out of there, but
for sure.
It's her time. It's been her time.
Yeah. So that's it, people. You know what I'm saying? That's what we do, man. We talk about Bake Off, and it's always a delight. And I love this show. I love this show, the show that we are producing right now, because I love talking to y'all about Bake Off. But I fuck with Bake Off so hard. And now that I done cheated and figured out a way that I can watch Channel 4, that means I can watch Christmas Bake Off this year live, or at least, near live, so I can watch that. Because we don't get all the Christmas Bake Offs. They sprinkle us some, and it's always like 2 or 3 years behind. I'm like, bruh, give me that new shit, where I get to see some of these bakers come back and play around and have a good time in the kitchen. So,
otherwise, we're forced to watch the American competitions, which are just dull in comparison.
Bruh, it was so lovely when they was helping, like you said, when Lizzie was helping Christelle get that bowl right. She's like, okay, look, how does the balloon method work? Because I clearly can never get this thing out this bowl. Which is interesting to me, because I watched Giuseppe do it, but Giuseppe poured it on way thick, and of course ended up with a misty-ass bowl. So the balloon technique does seem to be the better technique. I also find it interesting that all these people fill their balloons with water and not air. I don't know what to do with that. That's my own. I'm like, why are you not just blowing the balloon up? Do we not want COVID air?
Oh, maybe they couldn't.
Like, I don't want all that concentrated disease in one area. Just fill it with water. We'll do it that way.
Maybe they just thought if they popped it, it might break the sugar or the ice them up.
That's true because that there you go. That makes way more sense than what I'm thinking because when you pop it, it slowly will leak the water out and slowly pull away from the isomalt as opposed to just immediately going from the ice malt and possibly shattering it. You're so smart. Thanks, man.
Thanks.
I believe we revisit everything we have to do. There we go. Nick Jew is of What's the Tea podcast. Comes out every Tuesday. It's pretty dope.
Almost every Tuesday.
I mean, it come out enough Tuesdays that you ain't got to worry about it.
It'll be out tomorrow. It'll be out this Tuesday.
There you go. There you go. Did y'all figure out whatever caused your show to be like? I don't know, bruh.
Yeah, I was trying to use Anchor and didn't realize that it stops after 30 minutes if you do it from the website, but you can pull all of those 30-minute clips into one thing and make it a show. And I did that, but apparently I pulled the first clip twice instead of the first, second, and third. But then it created a different RSS feed, which I was having many problems trying to update with Spotify. So I just chucked the whole shit and like downloaded the episode from Anchor and put it up that week. But I don't think we're going to be using Anchor.
Fair enough. Anchor, I mean, just behind the scenes podcast talk. Anchor has all of a sudden been getting a lot of extra features on Spotify.
Yeah,
and that's weird to me because Spotify has they own a what you call it a hosting service already.
Right.
So why are you giving this other site that you don't own all these extra sweet features?
Right. I think I'm going to try to record on Podomatic just because we already pay them and they have a recording feature there. So I'll try it. It's just Google Meet is now limiting you to hour-long meetings, which sucks.
Bruh. It's like, come on, man. Well, it's all good. I'm glad you figured it out, and it should be fine. And it's a good show. You should be listening to it because there you go. And I mean, if you hear, you kind of know who we are. Stay Scratching Milk. We out here. The episode that goes up this week will be Gabe's last in-person record for the foreseeable future. I got to be real with you. So as he heads out on the road here this week, if I'm not mistaken, Friday is when him and the family are going on this cross-country adventure. So wish him well and show him love for those who get the show early. And if you got it late, you know what I'm saying, do it anyway. Too excited.
Do it again, yeah.
But this has been Stay Scratching Milk presents Krème Patisserie. It's a British Bake Off recap show. That's Nick Jew.
Me.
That's Ant.
Hello.
I am the Internet's Table 713. We will catch you next week. Peace.
On a flippity flop.
What happened to you? You used to be beautiful.